Why do systems protect in chaotic times? Here in Australia, we are entering into, once again, some more chaos. It is 2 days before Christmas. The governments here were very keen to open up and get families back together, which has been awesome. Extremely high vaccination rates, 93% double vax, 95% have had at least one. So very high rates of vaccination. But at the same time, guess who showed up to the party? Omicron. You're like, oh wow, awesome. New variant in that perhaps, perhaps there's antibodies from the vaccines, perhaps not. At least here it seems like it's spreading pretty quickly through young people, but symptoms are relatively mild. But it is a concern for a society that has not been through particularly high levels of infections like this. Now, wherever you are, you may not think that 5,000 cases a day is particularly high. Looking at, I think India at one point was at 400,000 cases per day. America routinely getting higher and higher, and much higher than that. I think Florida was 10,000, California 10,000. And so the question has come up, will the governments hold their nerve here? Or will they go back to lockdowns and QR codes and blocking borders and general chaos? Now, the interesting thing is, to me, number one, that they have known that this was a possibility and yet remain unable to cope. That the number of people getting phone calls about, hey, what to do, this has overwhelmed the system, and so people just are getting a SMS that says, hey, do your best. If this was day one in the pandemic, then fine, no worries. But this is not day one. We are almost 2 years into this experience, and it represents a false hope of the governments that they were going to get away with it, that it was all going to be fine. But it's not. Even if Omicron's totally fine, still need to continue with the general theme of the government coming to save everybody. And now that they're not, there is fear, there's worry, there's chaos. And this will continue. My foreboding, I suppose, like a sense of dread, is that because governments and many people do not understand how systems work at all, that they are continually surprised when systems go wrong. And it's not that the systems are going wrong, it's just that because they don't think in systems, they are surprised with the results. As we've previously discussed, if you have an incorrect system that doesn't give you the results that you want, then you need to change it. But also, if you do not execute the steps of the system, and some systems will also have a timing factor, then you will get incorrect results. You get results that you don't want. They're not incorrect. Let me rephrase that. They're not incorrect. They are just a result of doing that system with different processes than are written down. What got done wasn't what was meant to be done. But the real worry is not that this happens occasionally, but as system failures happen across societies, that there starts to be impacts where you didn't see a system interacting with your business or interacting with your life. You forgot that perhaps there was logistics involved in other businesses, and as they've broken down, your business now begins to suffer. And the real concern is that it may well be much easier, difficult as it is, to slow and stop an economy than to restart it. That if you take an engine and you, for whatever reason, it has open cogs and you throw a wrench in there, it will stop the engine. It took all of 10 seconds to throw that wrench into the engine, but the amount of work that it's going to take to repair it is considerably more. Depending on how much damage is done, you got to pull that whole thing apart, troubleshoot it, identify what's broken, find the new parts. All of this is extremely labor intensive and takes significantly longer than the amount of time that it took to stop the engine in the first place. So this is the fear. The hope, human beings, that we are naturally able to cope with hardship, troubleshoot, get to solutions, find new ways. But one of the powerful solutions that operate for us is to be able to understand systems better. Because when you do, suddenly you're able to correct faster. As chaotic events happen, you can look at a clean set of instructions and go, oh wow, I can see where this is going to impact here, and we can take strategic actions to counteract there. How can we get around that? How can we find a new way? Is this system now completely useless because the inability to access those inputs, or something has changed because of a chaotic event? And therefore, if that is the case, if this system no longer works at all, it's like, okay, what's the result? What other ways could we get there? What other processes? What other tools? What other inputs do we need to get the result that was required? Or perhaps that result is completely impossible to attain. What are we going to do? This will not come as a surprise to you. Instead, you've been able to see where the chaotic event has impacted the system and you can act. Now, notice that your competitors and most other people will not have this ability. They simply won't. They will be surprised at the impacts that the chaotic event has. They were like, oh wow, I didn't realize that it was going to have that impact and that impact. In fact, they may only see 1 or 0 of those places, and then the system breaks and now they are in firefighting mode. This is a difficult place to be. This means long hours, this means high stress, this means a toll on your body, as you perhaps have to cut sleep, increase caffeine, your increased irritability. Coming home with stress and strain means that your kids suffer from your stress, from your poor moods, from your anger, that your partner is distant. Perhaps you are unwilling to even speak of the difficulties and instead bottling it up, and then wonder why you begin drinking or smoking to take away the pain of the difficulties that you face. But when you understand systems, suddenly it becomes so much clearer. You're able to respond. You're able to see. Imagine 2 armies fighting, but one continually exists in a cloud of fog and one has clear vision. Who do you think's going to win? The one with clear vision is going to annihilate the other army. Even if they have superior weapons and superior training, if they cannot see, then they will be at a massive disadvantage to the army that can. And this is what systems represent, the ability to see. To not only see what's going on now, but to see into the future about what will happen because something else has occurred. Because a chaotic event has occurred, you can see the impacts and you can take action quicker, faster, better, cheaper, and get better results for your business, better results for your customers. And it will leave you in a rarefied field. Chaotic times are not such a bad thing for a systemized business. Instead, it will cull out those that have been playing in the good times only, but really don't know what they're doing. So do not fear the chaos. Do not fear the difficulties. Do not fear the bad times that may come if you know how to run systems. That's all I got for you today. There's not that many books on systems. There's like 5. Work the System, E-Myth, Systemology. There's a couple more. Jump into them. Begin to learn the power of systems, because they allow you not only to do things 2 to 3 times faster, not only allow you to prevent catastrophic events, but they also allow you to deal with chaos. And if we are heading into those times, perhaps blindly led by choices made by governments who do not think systematically, but rather are surprised when the inflation rates do not go down, when the shipping container ships do not get back on time, when the problems multiply and exponentially grow, and they act as if this was a surprise, because it is a surprise to them, because they have such poor understanding of how systems work, and yet they are in charge of perhaps the largest systems that exist on our planet right now. So, do your homework. Take the lessons, take the message that systems thinking will offer you the opportunity to grow and thrive in good times and in difficult times. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you are having an awesome Christmas period, holiday period, Hanukkah, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're celebrating, that this is a time for family and connection and reconnection, but do not miss the bigger challenges that may be coming and what is required as homework to get good enough to deal with what we may face. It's likely we will. If the current situations continue, it will come to pass that difficult times are upon us, and those that run and think and can execute in systems will have a massive advantage. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you have a great day. I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode as we continue this journey into power systems, create results. See you then.